Oxygen right now, right? Okay, let's get started here. Mastermind with Neil Schwartz. We have a guest with us from Montreal, Canada, Krystel Lamant. Krystel, good morning. How are you?
Good
They tell me I
morning.
need to put you on a speaker view. So now I'm going to do that. Good stuff. And we'll have a few people that'll be joining us. We are broadcasting on YouTube and on Facebook Live. So I don't know, there's tens of thousands out there that are talking and looking at you right now. Does that feel great? Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, I have to be careful on what I say.
No, you're going to be fine. You're going to be great. We really appreciate this. Krystel, so tell me, just give us a little Reader's Digest version of where you're from, how long you've been in the business, maybe your ascendancy in production over the last few years, just something like that. Just kind of starting point, so to speak.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me on this call. It's really appreciated. I've been in the business for the past 12 years as a realtor. I started in 2010, and I was working with a lot of buyers back in the days, doing 17 to, let's say, 22 sales every single year, out of breath, no weekends, no evenings off, answering my phone at 11 o'clock at night. Whew. And in 2012, I had the opportunity to go see Mike Ferry for the first time in San Diego. And there was somebody on stage, obviously, that I was amazed. So I grabbed my partner's hand and I said, let's go sign up, because even if I was doing 22 deals, I thought I was a big shot. I needed to have a partner because I thought I have no time for myself. And in the first year, I did more than triple my business, working only 5 days, was capable of taking some time off. In a couple of years, we built a team. I was the only agent taking listings. I was prospecting with my buyer's agents, and I was signing between 150 to 180 listings every single year.
Wow.
But doing that, building a huge team, I was getting tired. So I was very happy about this, but in 2016, I bought shares of the office of Royal LePage with my business partner, Fadi Kaouk. And I changed my business model completely in 2017. I decided to go for quality and not quantity. So as of now, I am doing between 75 to 85 sales every single year with one buyer's agent, one assistant, and I actually make double than what I used to make as a team member. Yes. So I went from taking listings of a certain price range. I increased my price range. I increased the commission. Mike Ferry and other great coaches helped me on that. Establish a very tight structure. And by doing this, doing 75 to 85 sales every single year, making more money, but I also work only 4 days a week in real estate. So I'm very happy about that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of what I'm hearing is to get bigger, to get more production, to make more money, you actually got smaller.
Yeah, going
wow.
to, yeah, I'm all about working smarter and not harder.
Wow, very, very cool. So let's take you through some of the steps here, okay? So some of the metamorphosis. So you were a buyer's agent, 17 to 20 transactions. What were the activities? How did you switch gears and turn into that listing agent? What did you have to do? And how much time did that take?
So I was a slow learner. I think I was a slow learner. It took me actually maybe a year before I decided to prospect on a regular basis. a year to a year and a half. It took me some time. I have to admit that the first time I pick up the phone, little story, maybe it's gonna make you laugh. For those that are scared of calling FSBOs, first time I prospected, I stayed in front of the phone and in front of the computer for 3 hours trying to take that first phone call. And I started with FSBOs, not past clients, or I went with the hardcore stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it took me three hours. And after that, I decided to grab a bottle of wine, having 2 drinks, and then do my first call. I didn't get I didn't get the appointment, but I had a very nice conversation with the seller. So I said, okay, that's not bad. They're actually nice on the phone. So that motivated me to continue on a sober base. Yeah.
That's amazing. What a great story.
Yeah.
So you stopped drinking and went out and took more listings. Okay, I like this.
Yeah. And from that moment, when I saw that you can have a very good conversation, being scared of the phone, it's whatever happens in what's happening in your head, right? So when I removed the fear out of the equation, I was capable of having good conversation with people over the phone. I did a lot of door knocking. At the beginning, I felt more comfortable to be face to face. And from that moment, I decided to move and do more prospecting, get more listing, and slowly delegate buyers
So
to other people.
So what I think I'm hearing from you, Krystel, is that a lot of this was mindset as much as it was skills. In fact, more mindset than skills. Would you agree?
I think it starts with the mindset.
Okay, good. Tell me more about that. What was I get that you felt better about it and that you did it, but there's something inside of you that made you keep going, because many people have a very, very similar experience, but they drink the wine too. Okay, they do that. All right, but I've seen that happen. But then they don't come out of it, within 12 months or 18 months and start doing 50, 80, 100, 150 listings. It doesn't happen that often. So what's that thing inside of Krystel?
So I spoke to a lot of people that were prospecting. Right away, when I started with the Mike Ferry organization, I started to have role play partners, accountability partners, and they all shared a similar history, similar stories. So I realized that when you remove the fear from the equation, you realize that the people on the phone, some people are rude, some people are annoyed by your calls and everything, but it's not about you, it's not personal. So when you realize it has nothing to do with you, it's just that maybe you're the 20th call in the day, you try to change your ways, think differently, and maybe call them earlier. Instead of being the 20th, you want to call them very early and be maybe the 4th. Okay. So you don't get this bad attitude of, oh my God, you're the 20th agent calling me today. I really quickly connected the dots that expireds, you call them very early in the morning or else you get bombarded. You have to be the first one in the door. It has to be quick. It's not like a past client or center of influence. So I really paid attention to, okay, let me try this. This is working, this is not working. Let me try something else if it's not working. I really paid attention, and that helped my mindset saying, okay, it has nothing to do with me. After, when you remove that part, that fear, then you can talk, well, that's my experience. You can talk about skills and refine your approach. But that, for me at least, that came afterwards. So that was my experience.
Got it. Okay, great. So you moved forward through that. You learned the scripts and dialogues. You helped, your team worked with you. You worked with your team. You developed all these people, all these situations that were going on. Well, what was the aha moment when you said, "Well, wait a minute. You know, I'm I'm still having no life, probably, maybe a little bit more life than you had with 17 deals. You're probably making more money, but not the kind of money you're making today." And so what was the aha moment? What was the thing that woke you up and said, "Whoa, you know, I got to change this"?
So I realized that I chose real estate. I don't have, I didn't have schooling. I didn't go to university. I didn't, I'm from the club scene. So I used to be a bartender in my past life.
Okay.
So there was a few things that when I came in the real estate business, obviously I had a lack of confidence because who wants to hire an ex-barmaid? You know, that's the first one. The second thing is I told myself, because I don't have the experience, I don't have business sense, I don't have a selling background, I have to outwork everybody to prove to myself that I was capable of making it. But when you're doing this a year, 2 years, 3 years, you realize that, okay, is it really worth it? And in my case, I think life sent me a message. In 2011, I was working about, I don't know, maybe 80 to 85 hours a week, doing 22 deals. And just the fact that my phone was ringing, I was getting nervous. And in June 2012, I got very sick. So I think my body crashed and I went 3 weeks at the hospital.
Ouch.
Yeah. So when I came out, I said, okay, no more. I want to change my life. I want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy my life. And I also want to have, you know, I want to make money and have a quality life.
Sure.
So I said, there must be a way. And that's when I started to ask myself question, what can I do differently? And this is when I tried and I tweaked and I've been coached by MFO since 2012. I had different coaches and they trained me, coached me on different aspects where I wanted to go at that moment in my business. But yeah, that was, I think, getting sick and having just a text message coming in and it would aggravate me. So, okay, it can't be it.
Yeah. So that something has to change.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, good. All right. So you started making those changes and setting yourself up. Your coaches helped you to do that and set that. Tell me about the decision to do less, to do more. Where did that come from?
So for a few years, I was the listing agent. So the beauty of this is I had an entire structure that I would prospect, I would go sign the listings, and I would do the customer service if needed as terms of price reduction. In this type of market, you don't need to do any, well, in Montreal, we barely need to do price reduction. But when I started, we were in a buyer's market. So I was taking care of that. And everything else, visits or the negotiation part, it was my business partner that used to take care of that. So I used to look at my business partner and he would have a 9 to 5 job, basically negotiating offers. And I was taking listings in the evening, on weekends. And when you're taking 150, 100 listings every single year, obviously you don't have a lot of time off. And, you know, my family was having dinners, barbecues, and things like that. My spouse has a well, today she's 6, 6-year-old daughter. So I did want to spend time with them. So I realized that by doing so many listings, taking so many listings, it was satisfying, obviously, making a lot of money, obviously. But again, I told myself, there must be a way. There must be something else. So I sat down with Mike. Actually, Mike was my personal coach for over a year. And he helped me refine my business, how to delegate better, how to take better quality listing, also increasing my closing ratio. I remember a couple of years ago, I was signing 56% of my appointments. Today, I sign 88%.
Wow.
Yeah, so for the same job, I close more, obviously. So
And at a
again,
higher price.
in a higher price.
Right.
And I did some business decisions. So in Montreal, we don't have, it's not like Toronto or Vancouver. A house of $2 million doesn't sell very easily in Montreal. It stays on the market over a year. And even if we're in a seller's market, it stays there. You have to do a lot of publicity to satisfy the sellers. So I said, okay, that's not the key. So I went to revenue properties a little bit more, selling duplex, fourplex, fiveplex for $1 million up that do sell very quickly, but you don't have to give the prime publicity as a luxurious home. So I looked with Mike, what can I do to increase my price point and still have a lot of activity.
Okay. Right. Right. Very powerful. Very smart thinking.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good for you. So 80 transactions closed a year. And what are you selling? Average price $1 million, 800,000.
About 750.
Okay. So I don't know. You're making what, a couple $1,000,000 a year, gross?
Actually, no. I do about 800,000 gross. However, I do zero publicity. I reduce that's another thing that I worked with Mike. I reduced my expenses. So I went from 42% of expenses to 31%.
Big savings. Big savings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's only me. That's without my buyer's agent. So
right.
I do make another cut from my buyer's agent. So you can say a little bit more than
$1 million.
Yeah.
Good for you. At $1 million, you can have a nice lifestyle in Montreal.
A pretty nice lifestyle, especially working only 4 days in real estate.
Isn't that great?
Fantastic.
So you come all the way from being a good buyer's agent to becoming a great listing agent / team, and then moving it all the way down to just you, a buyer's agent and an assistant, and you're crushing it. Probably making, well, as you said, you're making more money today than you made on a team doing probably twice the volume.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart move. Good for you. So how did COVID, how did or does that whole COVID thing affect you and your marketplace? Anything at all?
So we have a lack of inventory. Well, actually, we got a shortage of inventory right now. The inventory reduced about 37% in our marketplace. So I've been working extremely hard during COVID, doing a lot of solicitation. I've did a lot of Zoom listing appointments. Obviously, it's like everything, you have to adapt. So at the beginning, I have to say that I did a few listing appointments on Zoom, and it didn't turn out well.
Right.
But after
you practiced.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I was doing a lot of role plays on Zoom. I have to admit that we were in lockdown for about 7 weeks, and I did 27 sales in that period of time.
Wow.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. So in a market where there's limited inventory, and I suspect your interest rate in Canada is similar to the interest rate in the United States.
So we can have 2.19, 2.09 percent right now.
So, okay. So your interest rate is even lower than our interest rate. I don't think we're below 2.5% right now.
Okay.
So
well,
if
we've
you're,
never been as low as what we are.
yeah. So low interest rate, obviously low interest rate driving buyers to the market, low inventory, so there's not a lot to sell. So you have sellers that say things to you like, I'd list my house, but where would I go? Right? How are you handling that?
Okay, so before answering this question, allow me to, I realized something. There is a front end market and a back end market. The front end market is what we're living right now. The hard work is at the beginning of the process. Getting listing is what's difficult. And when you sign the listing, it sells right away. In a buyer's market, you have it's a back end market. So it's easier to take listings. Sellers do need our help, but after that, we have to go to work and do price reduction, do like a bigger customer service, give a better customer service. So when you understand this factor, you get a little bit less frustrated when you are doing your prospecting and you have a lot of objections and it's harder to get the listing. You just accept it.
Okay.
When you accept that, then you work on different things. So yes, I do have this objection. Where am I going to go? So I say to the sellers, well, there's different options. Obviously, if we're talking to somebody that is retired, let's say, and he wanted to go in a retirement home, or this person wants to downsize, I always approach it in a way that, okay, this is your retirement. So do you prefer to sell when the market is high and you get top dollars for, basically it's your piggy bank? Do you want to get top dollars for your retirement, or you want to take, the gamble of maybe selling when we get into a recession or we enter in a buyer's market? And usually they say, I prefer to sell when the market is high. Okay, perfect. So there's a few options there. The first one is, do you have a plan B? Do you have a second place to go? If they don't, are you willing to go in a rental property during the time that you take your time to find something? You're going to cash out all your money and it's going to give you time to find something to your liking. And when you do find something to your liking, you're already going to have the money in hand to purchase it. So that's the first option. The second option is you can rent back from your buyer. So the beauty that we have a shortage of inventory, buyers really want to buy. So usually they are willing to, do some exceptions and do things that they wouldn't normally do. So when you say to a seller, okay, put your house on the market, and when you receive an offer, the condition is that you're going to rent back to your buyer for a few months. That could work. The third option, which is not necessarily the option that will bring the most amount of money for a seller, but it could work, is the option that you put in your contract that you are willing to sell in the condition that you find another home in X amount of time. Let's say in 3 to 4 weeks. And again, because there's not a lot of inventory, a lot of buyers are going to be willing to accept that when in a normal market, they wouldn't. Sure. So I think the key here is not to try to convince a client, it's trying to show them some solution. We're there to find solutions. So you put all the solutions on the table and let them decide, what are you comfortable, A, B, or C?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. So most of the business that you're doing, the 70, 80, 90 transactions, Are they past client and sphere, new business, combination thereof?
So yes, I have a lot of past client center of influence this year. I've been calling them, telling them that, it's a winning lottery ticket when you put your property on the market right now. So it did help me out to have a big database. And I've done more just listed, just sold this year than I ever did in the past.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting.
So people get excited when they see sold, sold, sold. And especially when you can tell them, well, I sold your neighbor 50,000 more than what he's actually worth.
Right. Yeah. That's very, very cool. Good. Hey, so Krystel, I always ask, what do you think your superpower is? Listening to you, I have a couple of ideas, but what do you think your superpower is?
I think my confidence helps me a lot. And the confidence comes from, it was a working process. I studied a lot the scripts. I read a lot of books on how to ask questions. I'm an expressive, so I love to talk, obviously. So learn to listen more, asking more, better questions. I needed to talk to learn this. So it came from studying, working hard to, increase my knowledge, increase my skill level. But all of this obviously brings confidence. So when you know about your market, when you want to learn about what's going on around, it's helping you, it's serving you when you're in front of a client.
Knowledge equals confidence, correct?
Exactly.
And you study the markets. I think that your analysis and you look at things and how you study them and consistently ask the question, how else better can I do this so that it makes my life a little better, a little easier, et cetera, make a little bit more money, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So what's the balance? Is you going to change anything in post-COVID? You got to double down? What do less, higher price point, less transactions? What is it? What's in store for Krystel?
So I do believe that our market is not going to continue being like this. I do believe that we are going into a recession. I don't know how hard it's gonna hit. So I have the intention of pushing the machine as much as possible right now when properties are selling very quickly, very easily. So, I can prepare myself better for the future. I do think that listing is the key. You list, you last. So yeah, being a strong listing agent will help us in a buyer's market if prices go down, if the market. But at the same time, I also realize that if we do get into a buyer's market and the prices are going down, it's going to take a while for sellers to adapt. It's going to take a few months. So I think by knowing this, I'm ready. And same thing as when we started the COVID, I knew that buyers and sellers would be emotional. Buyers would see a lot of frustration making offers and being in competition with a lot of buyers. I knew that they would be emotional. We would live their emotions. So by being prepared, at least you're not being caught off guard. So yeah, I think you better prepare yourself to what's coming.
So even better prepare yourself than you are today is the way you're going to reach the activities that you're going to work on in this post-COVID world.
Yes, and if I'm wrong, if we're not getting into a buyer's market,
you're just going to be better.
Exactly.
Yeah, no. This is, again, this is your superpower. You're a very, very bright woman. This is very, very strong stuff. I want to go back to something you said. I wrote a note here. You said you were learning and working on asking better questions and asking more questions You said you read some books on this. Do you remember the books that you read or the teachers that helped you with this? Of course, it's besides Mike. He is the greatest question asker on the planet.
Yeah, I've read a few books. Obviously, Power Question is an amazing book. There's also a book, it's called Spin. It's a way of selling. So it's showing you how to close. It's a soft close. So
Okay.
giving options to your client, not rushing for the signature. It's a softer close, so it comes automatically. So that's Spin. There's, oh my God, there's so many. A lot of things on like mindset, motivation. I think it's important in this business to keep your mindset strong. So I have this routine. I would like to share it with you.
Please.
So I know it's not always easy to get up in the morning, have a powerful mindset, and to start doing your calls. And we're all human. We all have the same habits that some days we don't feel like it. So I have this routine that I get up at a certain time, always the same time. And it took me a while because as an expressive, you're not necessarily consistent by nature. So it took me a time to get into that routine, but got up, did my meditation for 10 minutes, wrote my gratitude, but also look at my goals. And this helped me so much. Focus every single morning and look at my goals. Why am I doing this? After that, I always listen to, while I prepare myself, when I train, I always listen to motivational speakers. I want to learn something when I'm on the treadmill or things like that. Because again, even if I had a good night, bad night's sleep, feel good, don't feel good, I need to have the mindset powerful so I can be powerful on the phone. So I always listen to motivational stuff in the morning. And when I arrive at the office, again, at the same time, I always take a book and I read only 10 pages. I start my day like that. I read 10 pages of something that is going to inspire me. So it could be something from, let's say, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Napoleon Hill, or anything that inspires me. Sure. So I read things from people that really made it, and they start from nothing. So that helps me take the first phone call and be powerful and be motivated to get that appointment.
That's a great routine in the morning. That's a great routine. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good for you. That's fantastic. Krystel, you opened up to some questions from our people?
Sure.
Great. Excellent. Okay, let me put this over here so I can see what's going on. Okay, so questions for Krystel, please. Really good stuff today.
Thank you.
Okay, just unmute yourself and ask, please. Go ahead, Iris.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Krystel. My question is, how did you build your database, and how do you nurture your database, and what do you do? Thank you.
Okay.
Good question.
Yes, it is. So obviously for the first few years, most of my prospecting was expired, FISBO, just listed, just sold. So I had to feed and build this database. So I didn't have enough past client center of influence. So I fed my database for a few years. And I can say that it's been maybe 3 years that I have enough in my database to, if I would want to, I could just do past client center of influence, but we always want to grow, so you try to diversify. But that's how I got to raise my database.
Okay, good. Thank you. Excellent. Go ahead, Iris. You're muted. Unmute, Iris.
Krystel, how big is your database?
Right now, we're talking about 750, more or less. It's 742 to be exact.
Thank you.
And thank you. Krystel, what percentage of the deals that you do are past client and sphere?
This year up to now is 54%. Last year was 62%.
So you're running, if you're doing 80 deals, you're probably around 50 transactions from the database,
More or less.
and you have 700 people. So
Yes.
you're very close to the 10% number. Good for you. Excellent. Okay, Josie.
Thank you so much, Krystel. Just a lovely woman.
Oh, thank you.
You said that I have two questions. Number one is you said revenue property. I really like that term. Duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. Where did you get their contact information?
So I dealt with a company that was taking care of, it was actually a management company. So he pulled out all the addresses for multi-revenue properties in certain neighborhoods that I wanted to work in. And they pulled out the address, the name of the owners, because obviously they're not living there. And they found numbers. So to find them, actually, the management company pulled out the address and the name of the owner, and I send the list to an Indian company. I get all my telephone numbers for expireds and those clients from India, because it would cost me maybe 3 to 4 times more doing it in Montreal. Yeah.
Wow.
Got it.
My other question is, what's your prospecting routine? Do you call past clients first, and then what do you do?
I like to diversify. If I just sold the property, I'll give you an example. Last week I sold the property with 13 offers. We sold it for $77,000 more than the asking price. So when I got to the office, I was all excited to call the just sold around. So it depends. But if I don't feel, I'm super excited, I do start with my past clients. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, good question, Josie. Thank you. Go ahead, Iris.
Thank you, Neil. Krystel, so what did you say to the multifamily owners in the beginning, and what do you say now when you call them?
You're talking about multi-revenue properties?
Yes, yes.
Well, they're all about numbers. So numbers have to make sense to them. The beauty in this market is the numbers are very excited. The selling price are very exciting for them. But we have to remember that in any cases, you do find sellers that need to sell and not want to sell. So the multi-revenue properties, the beauty of this is there's a lot of, older, there's a big immigration in Montreal. So you're looking at all the Greeks, the Italians that back in the days, they came here out of nothing. They bought a property under their personal name, and they put a lot of time, money, effort. And today their kids don't want to take care of it anymore. So they're retired, the kids don't want it. They're 80 years old, they don't want to deal with tenants anymore. So you always find those that need to sell in any type of homes.
Good.
Okay.
Half the cells want to sell. No. Have to buy, have to sell. Good answer. Great stuff. All right. Who else has got a question there? Another question.
Hi, Krystel. Krystel, this is Michael. Thank you so much for sharing. Can I ask a quick question?
Please, please.
Thank you. Yeah, so the question is, besides past clients and centers of influence, you mentioned that you have a team. And what other sources are they calling? And what other sources are you still calling?
So when I used to have a big team, I went to a point that I had a few buyer's agent. They all prospected. They all did expired FSBO, just listed, just sold.
Okay.
I was the only one calling past client center of influence.
Okay.
As of today, I have one buyer's agent, and she does prospecting on a regular basis, and she diversify as well. I think, a table is always more stable on four legs than one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So past clients, centers of influence, right? And expire for sell by owner just sold. Anything else?
Yes, for rent by owner.
Okay.
So people that are trying to rent all by themselves, I call them as if you had the chance of selling for a good price, would that be more interesting than, keep it as a rental? I do call them. In Montreal, we have notice of 60 days. So when you're about to give the keys to the bank, when you're not paying, they're giving you a notice that you have 60 days to pay back the mortgage. So I give them a call, ask them if they need some help.
Okay.
And obviously the successions. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Krystel.
All right, good. Thank you. Good, good, good.
My pleasure.
Robert, did you have a question?
Well, there was a question that came in through the chat box of what would you say to a brand new agent to get their career up and running?
Good question. That you're new or you've been a long time in the business, I don't think that it changed anything. Again, it's a game. So if you see this as a game, it keeps you motivated to continue. You make it fun. It's important to make it fun. It's important to list. Like I said, you list, you last. So the good thing is you don't have bad habits in the real estate department, in the industry. So that's good for you. You'll start on the right foot. But if you see it as it's a game and it's a process, it takes time. You have to be comfortable on the phone. And after you're comfortable on the phone, well, you're going to start having conversations, but you won't be able to close them. Well, then you're going to be able to close them because your skill level is better. You arrive to the client's house and you don't sign them. That's maybe because you need to pre-qualify better or things like that. So if you understand and you accept it's a process and you remember that, just have fun, let it be light. It's a game. I think it motivates people to move forward.
Good. All right, good stuff. Thank you. Other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go
Hi,
ahead,
Krystel.
Yvonne.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. I have a question for you. When you decide to move from your 150 deal to 75, you obviously move the price point to a much higher one. Did you move to higher end price in the same city, or did you move to another city?
No, I stayed in the same city.
Same city.
Yes.
Same city. She just did units, Yvonne. She shifted from
Okay,
single family
okay.
homes to units. Okay. She
So how
calls
many-
them revenue share, but
Okay.
we refer to them as multi-units or income property.
Got it. So what's your percentage? Your single family versus multifamily?
Between 5.5% to 7%.
What I'm saying
You're
is
talking about,
your deal numbers, number of deals.
so I'm about 39% in revenue units,
Okay.
and the rest is family homes.
I see.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Fantastic. All right, everyone unmute yourself, please. Let's give Krystel a big hand. Woohoo! All right, good job.
So,
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. Really good stuff. Very interesting. Really appreciate your time, all the effort and energy. It's a big deal. We're going to take a couple of minutes right now and go into asking our agents what they learned. You're welcome to stay and listen or go. I understand your time is very precious.
thank you for having me over.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll post the name, the address, and the email in the chat, in the group chat. So if anyone has a referral, you'd be open to taking referrals, right?
Of course.
I love it. All right. Good job. All right. Let's give her a big hand. Thank you again. Woo!
Thank you, everybody.
All right, good job. Okay, what did we learn today? What did we learn?
It's a process.
It is a process. Good job.
The way she broke it down was that you can become good in conversation, which I think I'm lacking. I can get the conversation, and then you get into where you don't, you can't close them enough. Then you show up to the appointment and you realize you can't close them because you never actually pre-qualify them. So as long as we're clear on that, you'll understand that it is a process. It's going to take time, and once you master that and feel confident, then you'll be able to have more fun with it.
Good thought. Great thought. Okay, what else did we learn?
I just feel like she's very down to earth. You know, she's like no nonsense, just telling us all the straightforward answer and being very concrete. She signed 150 to 180 listing.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And
Really,
quit
really
that. And wait, Michael, and quit that business and makes more money because to get bigger, she got what?
Smaller.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that before?
Never.
Many
Never heard that
times.
before. Okay, good job. Okay, Robert, you were going to comment?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because before you asked her what her superpower is, the thing I had wrote down about her is that she's extremely confident. And you said, what's your superpower? And she goes, I'm very confident. And I was like, well, at least we're on the right path here. You know, she said a couple things that I really liked when she said, it's a winning lottery ticket when you put your home on the market right now. Thought that was a great point. And I also like the little thing of a horse is more stable on 4 legs than 3 or 2. So you got to have at least 4 sources.
Yep.
You know,
That's
I
right.
thought that was really good. But the confidence,
cool.
she's just, you asked her a question about how she handles an objection, and she didn't or ah. She just went, well, let me tell you how I do it. It was just
Boom.
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 Yeah, there you go.
Do you think she's done that before? Okay, so you guys always want to know what I learned. Small, very small, all right? But gigantic. What are you going to do in post-COVID? Get better than I've ever been before, because I have to be better because I think the market could be going south. And if the market goes south, I want to be prepared for it. But if the market doesn't go south, I'm going to clean up because I'm going to be better prepared than anyone else. Hello? Is this a smart woman or what? All right? So scripts, dialogues, info sparks, knowledge. Okay, I'm done. Anybody else got anything? All right, very good. Okay, so I thought that was fantastic. Let me turn off a couple of, and I think it was very exciting.